Hey everyone, George here and welcome back to the channel. How many times have you asked yourself, wouldn't it be really cool if you found an app for your phone that will help you identify fish while you're in the fish store, but not only identify them, but give you an opportunity to see what their care is and see if it's something that would be good for your particular situation. I have found just an app for you that you're going to love. When we come back, we're going to talk about that. Hang in there with me, and we'll be right back. Aquatic Concepts sponsors Project Piaba. So as I said in the intro, wouldn't it be amazing if there were an app that would help you to not only identify fish, but actually tell you a little bit about that fish, or maybe a whole lot about that fish, and give you some ideas as to how to care for it, what its needs are, where they come from, the scientific name, all of the things that you might want to know about a fish before you ever put it in your tank, to see if it's not only compatible with the fish that you already have, or maybe if you're just starting a tank, maybe you can go through a whole bunch of different kinds of fish on an app on your phone that is going to give you an opportunity to look at every fish that you're about to purchase and see exactly what that fish is. A lot of times fish are mislabeled. That's the number one reason why I got this app, is to find out exactly what I'm purchasing so that there's no misunderstanding on that. Lots of times I see fish in the store and I say to myself, geez, you know, I'm a little suspect about whether or not that fish is actually what it says it is. Now, before we get into this a little bit more and thoroughly examine this app, I want to talk to you a little bit about subscribing to the channel, giving me a like, and actually leaving your comments down below. I don't make a ton of money off this channel. I live off subscriptions. Subscriptions are growing and the channel is growing, but I would like to hope that all of you who come by the channel, and I see this a lot in the analytics, that you're coming by the channel but you're not always stopping by to subscribe. Many of you come back. I can see those of you who come back many times and look at the channel, but you actually don't hit that subscribe button. And to be honest with you, I would hope that the information that I'm providing you with and the services that I'm providing you with on this channel would give you the opportunity to at least give me back something, and that is your my honor to have you as a subscriber, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't want to turn it the other way around, because I'm actually honored to have you as a subscriber. Also, give me a thumbs up on some of these videos, because that also helps me get into that algorithm as well that keeps this channel healthy. Like I said, I don't make a ton of money off the channel. In fact, I feed the channel every month. I don't really make any money. I break even pretty much, or sometimes I go below that and I have to feed the channel. So enough of that. Let's get back to talking about this amazing app that I found on the internet here. Now, when I was looking for something like this, I actually came across this when I was talking about plants with someone. And a friend of mine said, you know, there's an amazing app out there that identifies plants for you. It not only identifies them, but it tells you exactly what their needs are, what kind of light they need, what kind of watering, what kind of pot they would need long term, I mean, and also the kind of sunlight that they would need, everything you would need to know about plants. And I said, wouldn't that be actually pretty cool if they had something like that for fish? So I started to look around a little bit, and I ran across a couple of apps that were just mediocre. They weren't fantastic apps in the sense of the word, but they were just basically mediocre. And what I did is I ran across an app that I think is probably going to be something that all of you who are in the hobby are going to really enjoy, because this app is not only very specific about the fish that you're identifying, and you're able to take a picture of it with the app, and it will scan it It will tell you exactly what the fish is. Now there is a few things about this app that I want to talk about, because you've got to be extremely careful with a few things that you're doing with the app before you're going to get complete accuracy. But we're going to talk about that here. But I want to make it clear to you that these things are not perfect, but they are absolutely amazing once you get to know how to use them and figure out how to use them correctly, which I guess is the best word for it. Now, the thing that I have found is that when I'm using this app, typically it's in the store when I'm looking at fish, and like I said in the intro, sometimes a fish looks like it's maybe mislabeled to me, or it doesn't appear to be the type of fish that I really think that it is. And what I do is I pull out my phone and I use this app that I'm talking about. And I'm going to give you the name of the app at the end here, but let's get through it here and talk about the app a little bit to make sure you understand how crucially important this app can be to you. So like I said, a lot of times I'm in a store and I'm looking at fish and I'm not completely convinced that that fish is correctly marked as far as what kind of fish it is and whether or not it's something that I'm looking for my tanks. So what I have been doing lately is using this particular app that I'm talking about. And like I said, what you do is you basically are taking a picture, just like you do with the app that is used for plants. You basically take a picture and it will scan up and down that picture until it gets to the exact fish that this appears to be. Now, one of the problems that you have to take into consideration is fish are moving all the time. So accuracy of the picture is very important. One of the things that you're going to need to do when you're using this particular app is to make sure that the fish are standing still, sitting still, not moving around, and there's no other fish around them. You isolate that particular fish and zoom in on it as best you can. There is a zoom feature on here, so you can zoom into the fish as best you can, and you can take a look at that fish. It will do the scan for you, and then it will identify the fish. Now, if it's completely wrong, you'll know that. But if it's maybe questioning something a little bit as to the validity of that particular fish, then the best thing to do is to take another snapshot of the fish and give it a second chance to identify it. And sometimes it identifies it incorrectly the first time, but identifies it correctly the second time. A lot of this, as I said, has to do with whether or not you are holding the camera still, number one. You've isolated the fish, number two, and the fish is in focus, number three. Once you have done that, I've found that almost 95% of the time, it gets it right the first time, identifies it, and then you can start looking down from the identification to exactly what the name of the fish is. You can find out exactly what the scientific name of the fish is. It will tell you the region of the world and where the fish is located and where they are typically found. Also gives you a lot of information about their natural habitat. It also gives you information about the types of foods that are required to keep this fish healthy and happy. Water conditions, pH, all of those, water hardness, all kinds of different things that are so important to sometimes knowing exactly what you need to care for a fish properly. Now, these things are not perfect. Like I said, there's about 95% accuracy with these, but what I have found is they're a fantastic tool for when you go into a store and you're just kind of looking at a fish and you're going, man, I'd love to have that fish, but I don't know anything about it. A lot of times when you ask someone in the store, especially a big box store, sometimes they get freaky little fish in that they don't even know what they are. They can be worth a lot more than what they're saying, and they can be very exciting to find something and say, I think that's something that I want, and it's being misidentified on the little card or whatever it is that they might have there advertising what that fish is. And you can take your phone out and, like I said, get that app opened up, take a picture of the fish and immediately know exactly what the fish is that you're looking at. It's an absolutely amazing app that I think is going to really change a lot of the ways that we look at buying fish and helping to identify fish correctly. Now, this can be also used not necessarily in just a store, but even in your own tank. Sometimes we think we have a certain type of Corydoras, for example, and there are hundreds of different Corydoras out there from South America. Some are very rare and some are very common. And this app I have found has just about every Corydora that is known listed in there and can identify them extremely quickly for you. Now, that's just an example of how amazing this app is and how useful I think this is as a tool to help you do that. Now, Corydoras are just one example, but they are a perfect example of getting it right, because as I said, Corys, a lot of them can look the same. They can look very similar or the same, and the species, like I said, has 100 or so different varieties in the species, and you can get it wrong sometimes. You could be completely wrong. You could either be overpaying or underpaying on a fish and not even know it. So having this tool on your phone is going to give you an opportunity to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting. Now, I went into a store, for example, the other day, and I was looking at some cichlids. In this particular case, they were pistogrammas, and as you know, if you're looking at a pistogramma, so many of them out there look a lot alike, and they really are hard to identify. This particular app here gave me an opportunity to look at the pistogrammas that I saw in that tank and try to identify them. The bottom line is in the end, when I was talking to the salesperson, I said, I don't think that is what you're advertising it as. I think they were advertising it as a firemouth or something like that. And it turns out that these weren't firemouths. They weren't even pistogrammas at all. They were Bolivian ram cichlids. And I looked at them and I thought it was kind of funny. I said, these just don't look right to me. They were small, they were young, and I can understand why they may be misidentified, but this was a store that was not a big box store. It was a store that should know exactly what they are getting in. And it turned out that these were not pistogrammas at all. They were actually Bolivian ram cichlids in the very juvenile stage. And of course I walked away from that. That's not what I was looking for. But again, a fantastic tool to give you an opportunity to look at the fish and identify them correctly and know exactly what you're getting. I want to thank you for joining me today. I was really excited about this because I know that a lot of times people are asking me questions about fish and how they should be able to identify them. And before I found this app, a lot of times people would be sending me a picture and it's not always in focus. And it's like I don't know exactly what that is. I can't tell you because I can't see it correctly. The best thing I tell people now that I have this app is put this app on your phone. Now, it comes two different ways. Number one, there is a free version of it that gives you a limited amount of information about fish and doesn't really identify them. I would say even up to 95%, I would say 75%. But for $29 a year, you can put that app on your phone and you can get a 95 to 99% guarantee that the thing is going to actually identify fish correctly. So I think it's a very useful tool. And like I said, a lot of times people don't know what they're looking at in a store. They don't know what they're looking at even in their own fish tank. Sometimes they think they've got something. I had a friend of mine recently that had some Corys that he thought were bronze laser fin Corys, and I was saying, that doesn't look like that to me, but put this app on your phone and take a look at them and see what the app tells you. As it turned out, they were bronze, but they were not the laser bronze Corydoras that he thought that they were. So he was a little disappointed, but at least he knows exactly what he got himself into and what these Corys are. Now, they're still beautiful fish, and he loves them, but he knows now exactly what kind of Corydoras they are. Now, there's a lot of information, like I said, that goes with this. All the way down, there is just a ton of information about the fish and their needs, aquarium size. I mean, I could just go on and on and on with the information that is supplied with this. Now, I will put the name of this app on the screen at the very end of this video, and I will also put it in the description area down below so that you can just go ahead and click on it, and you can go right to that app and go to the App Store and find out exactly how to get that on your phone. It may be a little bit different depending on the phone that you have. I'm using an Apple phone, and Apple phone, I know exactly how to get to this app and that kind of thing. But with something that is not an Apple phone, if it's a Samsung, anything that is using a different operating system that I'm not familiar with, it will identify that app for you, and you can get it for that particular phone as well. It's just that I want to give you a disclaimer on that I think that I can guarantee you that this app will work really, really well on an Apple phone. I don't know how well it works on a Samsung phone or other operating systems because I have not had an experience with that, and I don't really know too many of my friends that do either. Most of all of my friends have Apple phones. So you might want to look into that before installing this app on your phone so that you know exactly what you're getting into. And again, I say, there is a free version of this app, and there is a version that you pay $29 a month, but they do give you 7 days of a free trial. So if you're just wanting to check this thing out for accuracy, check it out and see if it's something that you're really going to use, you do have 7 days to do that. If you don't like it, you can just simply cancel it. Apple will take it off your phone and make it useless to you, and you will not have to upgrade to that $29 version a year kind of thing. So there's a few caveats with all this, but in the big picture, the app is an amazing tool. And I'm going to show you during the video here the different pictures that I have taken and identified fish in my own tank so that you can see the accuracy of this. And as you're watching this video, you will have already seen that I have put a few pictures up on the screen showing you that. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a like on this video if you would, please. And also leave your comments down below and share with your friends. Now, if you do leave a comment down below, I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours typically. And if the information that you're trying to get from me or a question that you might have for me is something that I can't help you with, I will get that information for you and direct you to the person that can help you best with that and make sure that you're taken care of on it. That's something that I try to do always, and I continue to do that, and 99% of the time I'm going to be able to answer that question for you. But like I said, in the off chance that I can't, I am going to get you to the right person. Again, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Thanks for all of the wonderful, wonderful, I'm getting a little emotional here because I had a mishap, as most of you know, with a fish tank here last week, and I lost a bunch of fish. And so many of you came to me and sent me private messages and comments in my video that I talked about that in. And I was really overwhelmed by the wonderful people that I came across and how extremely, extremely caring they were about that. And it's hard when you have a bunch of fish that you've had for a long time, especially discus fish that you I've gotten to know over a 5 or 6 year period, and something happens to them, it's very, very hard to process and whatever. I'm getting through it just fine. I have a lot of discus tanks in my gallery, and that's not the thing that is going to take you away from the actual incident itself and get you through it. But the bottom line is things happen to people, happen all the time, but it's the people that support you, like the people on this channel, the subscribers that I have that have come to me and been very, very helpful with helping me get through that. I really, really appreciate it. Again, thank you for joining me today. We will see you on the next one. Until then, we're out of here.